Okay, guys, I'm here today with Mikey Musumeci. Huge honor for me. Guys, Mikey is the most successful American Jiu-Jitsu grappler with gi in the world. Has won 3 world titles as a black belt. And he won worlds on every single belt: blue belt, purple belt, brown belt, and black belt. And he went from blue belt to black belt in 2 years. So this video is how to go from blue belt to black belt in 2 years. So, like, how did you do that?
Okay, so the first thing is mentally, even when you get to black belt like 2 years later, you still feel like a blue belt because you jump out so fast.
I got it.
You know, so I won blue belt juvenile 2 worlds in 2013, and I got my purple belt that day, and then I won purple belt worlds in adult because that was my first year adult 2014. I got my brown belt on the podium. And then 2015, I won brown belt worlds and got my black belt at 18. And I was a year of 19, so I was turning 19. So about 3 weeks after worlds, the American Nationals was in Las Vegas, where I live now. But I was living in Florida at the time. And I basically just turned 19 like 2 days before this tournament. And I was already the age to fight as black belt, you know. So I got the opportunity to fight already black belt, and I was able to win my first tournament beating João Miao.
Man, that's awesome. No, and especially like beating a guy like João Miao, which is like one of the toughest on that division, like by far. And guys, nowadays it's not even possible to do that anymore, right? To go so quick from one belt to the other. But at that time on IBJJF was still possible. And Mike, how many hours did you train per day in order to do that?
A lot of hours. So basically, this jump from belts was so hard mentally because, like I said, I still felt like a blue belt. And then I was fighting like João Miao, who was like, I was such a, like, growing up watching them, you know, like they were like all the people I was watching. So I was such a fan of him. I was such a fan of all these top black belts. And then I jumped up to the belt so fast. So I was in school every day. I was in high school when I was like purple and brown belt. So I would wake up at like 4 or 5 a.m. and drill with my sister before going to high school. Every day, I would leave school and then just train as many hours as I could, you know. So it basically, I remember everyone telling me when I was gonna fight like the Miao brothers and all the top people at black belt, oh, they live on the mats, this and that. I'm like, but I'm in high school. What do I, you know? So how do I live on the mats? So I had this obsessive mindset where like I just have to get better. I have to get better. I have to get better. So I never was satisfied when I won in blue belt. Like the second I won in blue belt, I was like, okay, purple belt now. Okay, brown belt now. So I never in my mind was like content with winning. Like I was training the next day again. You know, when I won brown belt worlds, I instantly went back to training the next day for a black belt. Like I said in the previous video, the difference between brown and black isn't really like, it's more of a mental thing. Now you're like blue belt again because you're getting comfortable with yourself at black belt. Because I felt so uncomfortable when I got to black belt. I really felt like I was a blue belt juvenile fighting black belt adult, you know. So the biggest thing as a black belt is it takes a little while to get more comfortable. And how you get comfortable is you just throw yourself into the fire. You fight the best guys and you either get killed and you just keep going. Or you win. You know, it's just constantly taking hits like a punching bag. But after that first year, you'll feel better. That's the secret.
The coincidence, that's exactly what happened with me. Like, my first year was the toughest year I had as a black belt, and then the second year was one of my best. I won my first world title. Yeah, it's and I have done some research about it actually. Like most of the guys who became legend in the jiu-jitsu world, blah, 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 they won the worlds as a black belt in the second year as a black belt.
For sure.
They lost the first year and they won the second. So
I remember the first year at black belt, every match I was doing, I was like shaking so much. And it was like so hard. I remember talking to Bruno Malfacini, who won black belt worlds 10 times, and I was asking him, like, what could I do like to feel better? And he just told me, black belt is like, you just have to get used to it, you know, like it really, and then I now seeing that, like it is exactly what he said. It just, you're going to feel horrible like your first few competitions in black belt. I think actually it's not hard for people that don't have pressure. I think it's less, but when I won my first tournament against João Miao, I instantly had pressure. So then once you feel pressure, it becomes very hard black belt every year to keep competing. And like, I've even talked to Guy Mendes about this, and like, you're expected to win then against everyone. Everyone's so good. So then you have to, then you become like, I gotta keep working because everyone wants to kill you, you know? So it just becomes harder and harder. So black belt as a competitor is like such an interesting belt because that first year is going to be hell. But after that first year, you start feeling like, okay, I belong here. This is like the certain belt that I'm used to. And you start getting way more and more comfortable with this belt. And you start figuring out who you are. Like you kind of know who you are already. But it's almost identification again you go through. And your jiu-jitsu will change so much in black belt because of how hard you start training and pushing yourself. You know, when I first got to black belt, I was already in college at this time. And basically, I would wake up in the morning like 5 a.m., train as many hours as I could before 1 p.m. And then I'll be in school from 1 to like 11 at night. I'll get home, and then I would be like, okay, what do? I have homework, and I have to sleep to train the next day, and I'll just not sleep. So then I would just do this over and over and over, you know? So it's you kind of have to be crazy. You have to want it like so much, you know? Like there is really no way to do this except working hard, you know? That's really the difference between the top, you know?
Man, that's amazing, Mike. And it's amazing to see like how much you have achieved and how excited you are to keep achieving more stuff and even throwing yourself in the open class, like being
you just have to be crazy. You just have to be crazy. You have to like pain, to be honest.
Oh, that's awesome. So Mike, thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
And guys, every instruction from Mike is at bjfanatics.com, so make sure to check that out.